Good morning. We are live. Yes, another throat punch Thursday. And I see we got a bunch of people in the chat already. So, first thing we're going to do, what do we always do? Grunt style. We're going to watch their video as we always do on Throat Punch Thursday.
So I met this chick at the bar.
Yeah?
Oh, she was hot. She was just like, "Hey,
Oh, man,
you just want to
awesome.
And I was like, "Yeah,
Too easy.
yeah, oh, hey."
CIB. Hey, where'd you earn that CIB at?
The PX?
do
What?
you
It's
mean?
not stolen valor. I bought it with my.
So I noted inside.
Gotta love it. Just gotta love it. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not stolen valor. I bought it with my own money. Love it. Love it. Grunt style. Make sure you go check out their website. They got great t-shirts, great patriotic stuff. They probably don't even know I'm showing their video, but hey, I love that video. So, no guest panel today. You're just going to have to deal with me. Hopefully the audio is good. So if it's not, let me know in the chat. I'm going to try and follow the chat a little bit more than I usually do. But I'm kind of doing a recap because we're coming up on the end of the year. And this one's a special edition, a remembrance. And I'll get into that portion toward the end. It deals with Donald Cameron, a disabled Marine Corps veteran that was murdered. And we'll talk about that. There's other people doing a lot of work on that in the background. So thank you for tuning in. I want to start off with that. And one of the first things I want to do is I'm going to bring up Kaiser's military records yet again. There seems to be some people out there that have questions about the validity of those records. And by all means, they can reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to give them the information to file their own Freedom of Information Act request. And they will see the same thing that I'm showing you. So let's roll the clock back all the way to 1998. And I'm making this pretty big so you can actually read it on the screen, or you should be able to read it on the screen anyway. So Michael William Kaiser decides that he's going to take a shot at joining the military. However, he's going to do the military light side. He's going to join the United States Army Reserve. So not active duty component. This is the U.S. Army Reserve component. However, they have to do what's called IADT, Initial Active Duty for Training, because anyone and everyone that's in the military must go through basic training and also some type of MOS school, also known as Advanced Individual Training, or AIT. Some of the AIT schools are what they call OSUT, OSUT, one station unit training. They will start and go through BCT, basic combat training or basic training, and then roll right into their advanced individual training, AIT, as a cohesive unit. So that unit starts basic training, goes all the way through their AIT. I went through that as well when I joined active duty component, and I went to military police school at Fort McClellan, Alabama. That's where the original, or not the original, but it was home of the MPs for quite a long time. Prior to that, I believe it was Fort Gordon. But so here we have certificate of release, discharge from active duty, and Kaiser Michael William, Army/USAR. And I did a little bit better job of redacting because you could almost make some things out, but I have a new, it's basically a paint pen is what it is, secure marker that really covers it up. Place of entry into active duty was Southside, Alabama. And he was slotted, let's see, with, let me just bring up a different window here so I can read it better. B Company, 2nd of the 10th Infantry Training, Training Command, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. All right. He entered active duty 1998, 06/18. He was separated 1998, 07/22. A month and 5 days. Wow. So he got no decorations, no medals, no badges, no citations, campaign ribbons, or anything else. He has no military education whatsoever. Let's see. His discharge was uncharacterized, and the narrative reason for separation was failure to meet procurement medical fitness standards. Been a lot of speculation as to what that was. Was it a bee sting and he ended up with the hives and they put him out because you can't have allergic reactions like that because it's going to cause issues. Other people in the community have spoken to his family members, and that's where all of this came from. However, there's no actual documentation on it due to HIPAA, the medical HIPAA laws in regards to releasing medical information. So not anything that we will ever get any good documentation on, I guess. But yeah, an entire 1 month and 5 days. So great. So 98, got the boot. And for whatever reason, in 2005, old Michael William Kaiser decides he's going to give it another shot, but he's not going to go active duty component. He is yet again going to try basically another reserve, only this time with the United States Army National Guard for the state of Alabama. So we did get his National Guard discharge. Ba-boom. Imagine that. Oh, by the way, he was a PV1. That's your E1 pay grade, initial entry. Most people come in as an E1 unless they did some other stuff, and they could come in as an E2 or even an E3 on the buddy program. If they got like 2 buddies to join at the same time, they could get an automatic promotion. It's mainly money. Their jobs are all the same. They're still bottom rung worker bees. Notice how I use the bee thing. And that's how they get started. So now we're looking at his NGB Form 22, Department of the Army, and the Air Force National Guard Bureau report of separation and record of service, however minute that may be. So again, Michael William Kaiser, or as the military does it, last name first, first name, middle initial, or middle name. So it's Kaiser Michael William, Army National Guard, Alabama Army National Guard. And let's see. Oh, man, he made his IADT, his initial active duty for training, He made it 11 months. No, I'm sorry. Well, we'll get to that. So his net service for that period, I'm correct, 11 months and 16 days. So between his two tries, he's got 1 year, 1 month, and 5 days total trying to become a soldier, which he never did. He was slotted with the Alabama National Guard in the 214th Military Police Company out of Alexander City, Alabama. However, he wouldn't have been able to do anything with them while waiting to go to his IADT. So he entered his enlistment April 12th. Correction. That's 2004, December 15th. And he left for, I don't see the date he left. So he had a short period of time before he returned to, or before he went to Fort Leonard Wood for his BCT, basic combat training. Anyway, 1 year, 1 month, 5 days total service. So this time around, again, he had 11 months and 16 days. Prior reserve component service, which would be delayed entry, he had 14 days. Prior active federal service, he had 1 month and 5 days. That was from 1998. His total service for pay, 1 year, 1 month, 5 days, and total service for retired pay, 1 year, 1 month, and 5 days. So that's what he's got. It's just, it boggles the mind, but we're going to go through, of course, military education. He's got none, 0, never completed basic combat training. Primary specialty, this is where your MOS would have been listed. His would have been 31 Bravo 10, 10 being a 10 level. That's E1 to E4. That would have been there. Again, decorations, medals, badges, commendations, citations, and campaign ribbons awarded. Nada, because he wasn't eligible for any of that. He did receive a very small severance pay from the National Guard. And that leads me to believe that there was some type of maybe an injury or something. Again, non-verifiable shin splints, that he ended up having surgery on his leg or whatever. Keep all of this in the back of your mind, because it ties into some of the BS stories that he has spewed across his YouTube channel, which are now gone. However, they are archived, every single one of them, and every single one of his claims. Again, another uncharacterized discharge with a reenlistment eligibility. RE3 requires a medical waiver, which the woman that I spoke to at the Alabama National Guard, she was like, I don't know how this guy got past this and got a waiver to come in, but he never should have. And here we go. Now we got another waste of money on somebody who's, due to weakness, couldn't get through basic combat training without some kind of friggin' issue. So that's that. Yeah. So I wanted to go over that stuff only because I wanted to just put this back out there. And the reason I'm putting that back out there is there have been several people that have been questioning it. And there's nothing there to question. That NGB 22 form was completed with documentation that they received from Fort Leonard Wood on Kaiser getting the boot. And of course, he never showed back up at his guard unit, probably too ashamed. Well, I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't show up wearing staff sergeant stripes. Let's talk a little bit about his claims still. And like I said, guys, this is probably a boring recap for some of you. Others, it might be something new. I don't know. But I want to get this out there. And of course, I always tag him in the header for my videos because I want to make sure he sees this. So some of the claims that I've seen and I've heard from his own flapping gums, because he doesn't have teeth, over a decade of service. I've heard up to 13 years of service, attained the rank of staff sergeant as an MP, claims to have gone to Ranger School, claims to have earned 2 Purple Hearts, claims to have shot a child in Iraq because the child had shot him in the shoulder, which we now know he shot himself. That's when he had his little pity party thing where he talks about shooting himself. So, I mean, he's debunked all of his own military claims by what he said and some of the comments he's made in some of his videos. And these will directly tie into some of the legal problems I believe he's going to have for 2024. He's seen people who have been shot in the head. That's a key one. Where did he see that? He damn sure didn't see it in combat because he was never in combat. He's made claims to other people that he's worked as a contractor and that's how he was in combat. No, there isn't a contractor out there that's going to hire a BCT failure to go overseas and provide anything other than maybe scrubbing pots and pans at the KBR kitchen. And if you've been over there, you know what KBR is. You know, at the DFAC scrubbing pots and pans. Maybe he might have qualified for that. But so after this whole 2005 thing, he got in some legal trouble with some burglaries, breaking and entering, stealing medications. He was a pillhead. Don't know if this has anything to do with his surgery that he supposedly had for his shin splints or how he got his 40% VA, which that's even questionable. Really not too sure about that. But if he did in fact get it, and it's not unheard of a BCT failure who was injured getting some type of VA benefits due to that injury, if it was some type of an incapacitating injury that you know kept them from doing any work. But yeah, don't really know what the scoop is on that. So all of his military claims have been debunked, period. It's stolen valor. A good prosecutor could make a case based on, well, now I'm saying based on Alabama law. However, he's not in Alabama. And what I've heard is his family doesn't want anything to do with him. He's got a brother, seems like a pretty nice guy, pretty squared away, wants nothing to do with this turd. As well as most of his family, other than his mother, because it's believed that's where he's living right now in Arkansas. I think it's Arkansas or Oklahoma. I don't know. He's one of them friggin' states. But there's other people working that side of the house. They know exactly where he is, and people have actually shown pictures of the house. So, you can run, but you can't hide, you turd. So I'm going to go over some more of my notes as we move along here, and then I'm going to take questions at the very end. So a little while ago, now he's been trying to gain some type of credibility on his YouTube channel when this all broke, because he took a nosedive. And I don't really give two shits one way or another how well his channel's doing or how poorly it's doing. I don't care. But he's been trying to gain some type of credibility by having veterans or other people in positions of esteem, I guess you would think. He had Navy Text on there. And as soon as Navy Text found out about it, man, there were fucking skid marks leaving that place. He didn't want nothing to do with that turd. But he does come across and does talk a good game. He has bullshitted a lot of veterans. He's bullshitted everybody on his channel into thinking he is something he is not. And then when his criminal records came out, which he has copped to all of his criminal records, that was a fiasco. And the release of my video, now I'm not the first one that's figured this all out. Kudos to Tats. He got records. He talked to Mary Shantag, a friend of mine, and got a Freedom of Information Act request done, received records. He went the extra mile on that, and he just keeps hammering them, and he's doing a great job with it. So my video breaks, the Stolen Valor thing comes out, game on. KFAR has come out and denounced him. Do I still think they talk? Yeah, I do. I think they talk. KFAR's kind of, I don't know, he's really soft. But he did come out and say it and denounce him. Good for him. He could have just, had some morals and some intestinal fortitude and stood up and said, this guy's a turd. I'm all done. I don't want nothing to do with him. But he hasn't. It's always been very soft, anything he's had to do with Kaiser. JJ Scarborough. All right, so Kaiser's main focus is on this guy in Meade County, Kentucky, an auditor. I served in the military, so these people would have the right to exercise their First Amendment right. Whether they do it correctly, whether they're a pain in the ass, whether you don't agree with what they're doing, they can do it. And when they break the law, they get arrested. It is what it is. I'm not going to get into the auditor, anti-auditor thing, but just keep that in mind. So his main focus is on this guy and his girlfriend in Meade County, Kentucky. Well, the jailer, elected position, Meade County, Kentucky, the county jailer is an elected official who oversees the county jail. So JJ Scarborough all of a sudden pops up on Kaiser's channel because Kaiser has got nobody with any credibility on any of his panels. They're all a bunch of ding-dongs. You got the tater tot guy, and you've got a bunch of these other goofy bastards that are showing up over there on his channel that have no credibility and absolutely nothing of value to add to anything. In pops JJ Scarborough, Meade County jailer. So this guy's talking. He's an elected official. He's in the justice system. He's in charge of a jail. And now he goes on Kaiser's YouTube channel. Let's see, convicted felon, pending felony cases, the possibility of a retrial on a capital murder charge, which Kaiser for prison 2024. That's my vote. So now he's endorsing this guy's YouTube channel. This guy's not very politically savvy as far as that goes, because this is really going to bite him in the ass. Everybody reaches out to him. I get an email from him. He gives me some background, bunch of crap. I didn't know, blah, blah. He never mentioned his military to me, but I think he's doing a great job in regards to these First Amendment auditors. Okay, well, you could think that. But, he is a convicted felon. He has pending felony charges. And there's a possibility that this capital murder charge is going to resurface. But you're going on his live stream, and he's like, oh, so he's like, well, can you provide anything for the military stuff? I gave him all the information he needed to get his own Freedom of Information Act request in from the Alabama National Guard and get Kaiser's military records. And then he can see that he lied about his entire military career. However, Kaiser's already gone back through his channel, deleted all of those live streams where he talked about his military career. And of course, we have people that have archived every single one of those videos. So he's never going to get away from them. Internet's forever. So JJ's like, yep, okay, I understand. This is not good for me. I'm not going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Then the other night, who pops back up? JJ Scarborough. So in his email, he tells me, yeah, about 9 years ago, I was a diesel mechanic before I ran for county jailer. I hope you've been keeping up with the technological advances in diesel mechanics during that 9-year period, because you may be right back there turning wrenches again. Most law enforcement agencies, I wouldn't say most, I would say almost all law enforcement agencies do not want you conversing or befriending or endorsing convicted felons or people who have pending felony charges. This guy's got people in his jail that have pending felony charges. Is he taking them home for dinner? It just brings the whole thing about him having any credibility into question. Not to mention, I guess he was a reserve deputy for the Meade County deputies or the Meade County Sheriff's Office. And while working in his capacity as the county jailer in a pickup truck, attempts to make a traffic stop that turns into a chase, that turns into an officer-involved shooting, where he shot at this guy, which tells me this guy's got like zero training. You don't do some research on that. So Meade County reaches out to the Kentucky State Police to see if they would investigate this. And the Kentucky State Police is like, this is your fucking shit show. We're not getting involved. So I don't know whatever happened with that. I don't know if he's still a reserve deputy or a reserve police officer or whatever. I have no idea. But he's still the Meade County jailer. I don't know how long that term is for. But I guarantee you that the next election is probably going to get a little spicy, if nothing else. I'm sure it's going to get a little spicy for him. I got to have my Java, because I've been talking nonstop now for what, 30 minutes. I'm not a very I'm just catching a couple of these things. It wasn't a personal vehicle. He was actually in a pickup truck that belonged to the jail that did have lights on it. I read through some of the articles on it, but I don't really give two shits. Unfortunately, they do have Leo Powers with diesel mechanic training. That's scary. Very scary. So a remembrance. And that's kind of where I want to go from here. And let me see. So the first thing I want to read to you, and this is in regards to Donald A. Cameron Jr. Donald is from what was living in Ohatchee, Alabama, and they knew each other, or there was some type of friendship, family friendship, or something going on. But Donald was murdered on the 26th of December, 2009. And I just want to read you a little clip from his obituary. Donald A. Cameron Jr., 47, of Ohatchee, Alabama, was found dead on December 26, 2009, at his home in Alabama. Born at Fort Lee Military Hospital in Prince George County, Virginia, he resided most of his life in Mercer County. He lived in New Egypt for 2 years prior to moving to Alabama 7 years ago. He was a 1980 graduate of Lawrence High School, a graduate of Mercer County Community College, and a disabled veteran from the United States Marine Corps. Donald was a long-haul truck driver and had also worked for the Trenton Housing Authority before moving to Alabama. Donnie enjoyed riding his Harley-Davidson motorcycle, fishing on his pontoon boat, and riding with the Patriot Guard Riders. For those of you that do not know who the Patriot Guard Riders are, they provide honors for veterans' funerals. A lot of them ride motorcycles, but you don't have to. My father-in-law was very much into the Patriot Guard Riders. And even after he stopped riding due to medical issues, himself and my sister-in-law, they would both go out for local Patriot Guard Riders functions and, stand there with the American flag and present honors for those veterans that had passed. So, as a matter of fact, they were present at my father-in-law's wake, and we're still waiting for his burial. He's going to be buried in Arlington. So, that said, in regards to that, and if you think back a little bit, what I mentioned about someone who had been shot in the head, he had seen someone shot in the head. Here's a news release that we can go over from the Alabama Attorney General. AG announces capital murder indictment for killing of Ohatchee man in 2009. Now, this came out May 23rd, 2013. So, almost 4 years later, they're just getting around to an indictment. Montgomery, Attorney General Luther Strange announced the arrest of an Ohatchee man for capital murder in the 2009 shooting death of Donald Cameron, also of Ohatchee. Michael William Kaiser, 32, was arrested on Friday by the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. At an arraignment this Monday, May 20th, in Calhoun County Circuit Court, Kaiser pleaded not guilty. Attorney General Strange office presented evidence to a Calhoun County grand jury, resulting in Kaiser's indictment on May 10th. Specifically, the indictment charges that Kaiser intentionally caused the death of Donald A. Cameron by shooting him with a firearm, and that Kaiser was unlawfully in Cameron's home with the intent to commit a theft or felony crime. And there was nothing else released on that. So, unfortunately, this indictment did not result in a trial. And it was mainly due to clerical errors between charging documents and indictment documents. that's the best we've been able to figure out. I would love for Merb to get on here and give an opinion, if he could get all the documents. Look at the charging documents and the charging affidavit and the indictment and try and figure out why the DA's office did not go forward with this. If the language was that much different than the indictment, then I could see where that might cause an issue. But in remembrance of Donald, that's why I wanted to do today without a panel. I just wanted to bring this back up. So, the anniversary of his death was just 2 days ago. And I figured I would feature that here and talk about it, as well as recap all of Kaiser's bullshit military claims, and then just touch on this. But, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, disabled, and basic combat training flunky, bailed out twice, pillhead, convicted felon, basically murdered this guy, or is accused of murdering this guy, Donald. He's accused, because you're innocent until proven guilty. And we haven't had that day in court yet. The good thing, there are nonprofit victim organizations out there that will take up the charge on something like this, and they will be relentless at getting this to trial. I guarantee you. When it was first dismissed, it was with prejudice, which means it couldn't have been refiled. That had changed. Now it's without prejudice, to where they can refile those murder charges, because there is no statute of limitations on murder charges. So Kaiser still has a needle with his name on it in the near future, I hope. Of course, even if he gets the death penalty, it'll probably be 20 years before they actually stick a needle in him, if convicted. Like I said, he is alleged to have done this. How would he know what somebody looks like who's been shot in the head? Inquiring minds want to know. He still hasn't come out and basically fessed up to all of his bullshit military claims. I don't think he ever will. I've seen some of these stolen valor pukes that just, they never will. They will never. They'll live the lie. I guarantee you he talks trash when it's not in a way that it can be picked apart by people in the know. So he doesn't talk about it on social media any longer. But I guarantee you, if he has a conversation with somebody, he's going to talk shit, because that's him, a narcissistic psychopath. All right. So that pretty much wraps up what I was going to talk about. Now we'll go to questions. So if you've had any questions that you've posted previous to now, repost them, and I will try and answer those questions. How long will Kaiser get VA benefits? That's a good question. That's a very good question. A lot of times it's forever. Sometimes it's a temporary thing. However, when you're incarcerated, as he has been, once you go beyond, now for the first 60 days of incarceration, whatever your VA level percentage is, it gets dropped down to 10%. If it's at 10%, it gets cut in half. And on the 61st day, they cut off your entitlements. So you no longer get that money. How long? I don't know. And like I said, we're never going to know how he got this VA disability, if in fact he does have it, just due to the fact that medical records are HIPAA law protected. Let's see what else we got. What else have we got? Yep, 60 days, Lupe. That's correct. Yep. Joey, he also failed multiple lie detectors, however, not admissible in court. They can be used to rule out someone as a possible suspect. Jerry, I don't know if he's still getting VA benefits or not. I really don't. I mean, if he wants to show a bank statement where he's getting those deposits, that'd be one way to do it. Well, the reason lie detectors aren't admissible is because it's a very subjective thing. There are people that can actually beat lie detectors. Takes a lot of training. I know when I went through military police school, if you were done with one of your block modules of training, a lot of times they'd take us over there and we'd be guinea pigs for the CID guys that were learning how to use the polygraph. It's just weird. Let's see. Yeah, his VA letter was kind of odd looking. There's no doubt about that. Well, David, if he was injured, so if he was injured during BCT and that injury was severe enough, then he could get a percentage for VA. It's not unheard of. I don't know of anybody else. I'm sure there's a few. This stupid thumbs up thing, I keep giving a thumbs up and it keeps going off. It's something to do with the software for this webcam. It's weird. Oh yeah, his prison tattoos. That's right. Yeah, he's got the penis sword on one arm and then the MP tattoo on the other. 52. Nah, you're probably not going to be able to get in. I have no idea why. I could. Well, here's my thing. I think JJ is auditor bad, Kaiser good, because Kaiser goes after this guy that's been giving JJ a hard time at the jail. That's what it is. Because they've been harassing JJ at the jail, which comes with the territory when you're in some type of justice system position or law enforcement position. Yep. Deal with it. Stop being a pussy. Deal with it. You don't need to go on this convicted pending felony scumbag's YouTube channel and tell him what a great job he's doing. That just makes you look like a douchebag, which obviously this guy probably is. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, killing time, Pat. That would be a negative 37. He'd be right in line with Jeremy DeWitt. Then he'd be able to join the minus 37th Special Forces. Let's see what else we got here. Yep, the penis sword. Awesome. We got somebody that works for the VA. And I'm sure you have to listen to some pretty wild, crazy bullshit stories while you're there, because I'm sure A lot of these guys inflate their military careers. Yep. Common enemy. That's why JJ is buddying up with Kaiser, no doubt. Sherry, I don't know. I don't know if they would give you any compensation for a small penis. I don't know. Especially because that's kind of a, I guess that would be a birth defect, or I don't know. Maybe he's got a little beanie flicks. I don't know. Yeah, 81 USMC. Yeah, brother, he probably does. He probably counts that as a combat deployment, because I'm sure it was. Dangling off somebody's pocket, walking around the yard. I'm sure. I'm sure he got picked on quite a bit. Or maybe they saw him in the shower with his little winky. That was something else, because I guess he tried to get his VA upped for sexual harassment while in basic training. Really? Yeah, yeah. With less than 24 months, the time doesn't matter. It depends on if you were injured. Yeah, only frauds is there's no telling. Um, However, they're going to require some type of documentation that shows that that gunshot wound happened while in the military. And people that forge documents and give them to the VA, usually it doesn't go well for them. The Office of the Inspector General for the VA is getting really good at detecting this shit. Yeah, thank you, and happy holidays to all. I hope you guys all had a great Christmas and are looking forward to a new year. Yeah, he does kind of look like a little pencil neck. Uh, no doubt. I love this. When it comes to Kaiser, the best lie detector is let him keep talking. He will always end up contradicting himself when it comes to Kaiser. The best lie detector. Yep. Every time he opens his mouth, he's lying. You can just about bet on that. Really? Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know what the Kentucky Adjutant General's office or the Kentucky AG, if they would even look into that. He is an elected official, and there are, as an elected official, there are certain rules and regulations you must follow per the legislature. So I don't know. I don't know, but I think his reelection is probably going to be a little bit tougher this time around. I'm just trying to get caught up on the chat. I did say bean the flick. Small severance. That's, yeah, it was 4 digits, lower 4 digits. Uh, I don't know if, Jerry, I guess you're talking about Kaiser staying on the internet, if it's better for the continued investigation. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if he should be taken off the internet. I don't know. He's going to have to. He's probably going to have to depend on his AdSense account to keep money in his canteen when he finally goes away. And I'm pretty certain that's going to happen. Like I said, Kaiser for prison 2024. That's what I'm looking for. Lupe, what? Micro penis syndrome sufferers exist. I'm sure they do. Little bean flickers. All right. I'm just trying to get through this. All right. I'm back down to the bottom. So this is going to be probably the perfect time. He was unopposed in his last election. Really? Somebody should run against him. Maybe it's a shit job nobody wants. That's why you get a diesel mechanic who's a jailer. Somebody should run against him. I'm not moving. The case was dismissed with prejudice to begin with, and it has been changed to without prejudice, to where it can now be retried, or he can be reindicted for it. So yes, there is no statute of limitations. It was changed to without prejudice. He can be recharged, reindicted, have a trial, get the death penalty, and get a needle stuck in his arm. That could very well happen, because there was probable cause to arrest him and indict him. So let's just hope that these nonprofits are really pushing hard to get this back active. Yeah, it was with prejudice first. That means it's all done. And I think it had to do with, I think the reason for it, Jerry, was that the prosecutor's office did not make a compelling argument during that time frame. I don't know if they just had some ADAs that didn't know what they were doing or what. No, he's chef. He's not getting off scot-free. It's going to happen. Just everybody say a prayer and keep your fingers crossed, and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, I'm gonna close it up. I really appreciate all the support I'm getting on these Throat Punch Thursday videos. It's kind of a shitty time during the day. It's 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, but it works for me right now. Again, if you are a veteran and would like to be on panel for future live streams, shoot me an email. msgretired11@gmail. It's been scrolling at the bottom the whole time. And I'd love to have you on here. Bandit, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And I will do that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. Thumbs up, all that good shit. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody's support. And we got another big YouTuber that their military service has come into question. And they have really and it's a big channel. So, yeah, I'm not even going to even hint at who that could be, but been yakking with Josh. And after the first of the year, we're going to start digging in and see what we can come up with. So, with that, have yourself a great day. Oh, and Happy New Year.